Good morning, students. Today, I am going to discuss with you about the models of curriculum development. In curriculum development, we are having two ancient models and two latest models. The two ancient models are Rolf Tyler model and Hilda Taba model. Rolf Tyler model and Hilda Taba model, because they are ancient, because they have framed in 60s. So it is a very old concept. This model is nothing but the suggestions they have given, because they wrote some books on this curriculum development and also evaluation procedures. Because of that, they have wrote some books, and in those books, the model means they have given their own suggestions. So Rolf Tyler, based on the 4 questions raised by Rolf Tyler, he framed his own model, that is Tyler's model. And Hilda Taba, she framed, based on the 7 steps, she framed her own model. So these two are the ancient models. Now we are going to discuss the main features about this Rolf Tyler's model. It is a deductive approach. Deductive approach means from principle to different branches. So likewise, this curriculum development, it should be based on the different branches. And it is an administrator's approach, because the administrators design the curriculum and the teachers have to follow and implement the curriculum. So that is the administrator's approach. And the next point is, it is mainly framed on aims, evaluation, and control. So what are the aims in framing the curriculum? And what are the evaluation procedures? How to organize and control? So these are all the main stress. And it is helpful for market-oriented education. It means it serves the purpose for the present student community. And one luck, also, it is there. It is not. It is inadequate for the creative individuals to meet the challenges in the changing circumstances of the society present. So the creative individuals cannot handle this syllabus. It is one lacuna. Then Taylor's model consisting of 4 basic steps. That is not the steps. That is, he raised the questions. What is the purpose of education? What educational experiences will attain the purpose? How can these experiences be effectively organized? How can we determine when the purposes are met? So 4 questions he raised. What educational experiences, that is, educational objectives, will attain for the purpose? So 4 steps he raised. Based on the 4 steps suggestions, he made his own model, that is Taylor's model. The first question he raised is, what is the purpose of education? Education is framed based on the 2 aspects, that is societal aspects and student aspects. And the curriculum should be framed according to the needs of the society. So we have to consider the needs of both the society and needs of the student, because the purpose of student teacher is to take the training from the education as a successful teacher in their future life. So because ours is teacher education course, because of that, the purpose of education is like that. And next point is, establishing the purpose, outline the goals. It indicates what is to be the outcome of the student's education. So what is the purpose? how much the output, how much outcome that the student has learned. So after going to the school, how much the learning ability or no learning outcome. So that is also one of the point we have to consider while framing this curriculum development. Then next point is establishing the purpose, develop objectives, a description of a performance you want learners to be able to exhibit before you consider them competent. So if a person needs competent, he needs a good performance. So the training is also necessary for the individual to, it is also one of the competent aspect among the group or among the society. Then the second point is the educational experiences or the educational objectives. So the first point is whether the objectives provide students with a means to organize their own efforts, whether they are organizing on their own, whether they are organizing systematically the objectives. So we have to consider. Then the second point is the objectives in view, students at all levels are better able to decide what activities on their part will be help them to get where it is important for them to go. So what are the objectives, what activities they are performing, whether those activities are helpful for them to go in a systematic way. So that is also that aspect we consider while framing this curriculum development. Then another point is objectives are related to the intended outcomes rather than the process of achieving those outcomes, because the process is, it is a routine, whereas the intention of the outcome, it should be also measured in this second point. Then the third point he raised is how can these experiences be effectively organized, whether they are organizing effectively or not. Generally, we are having three domains, that is cognitive domain belong to all mental process. Affective domain, it belong to the affectives, that is exclamation or the proficiency or the feelings. Then psychomotor domains, that is the hand coordination, hand and eye coordination, hand and mind coordination. So this is psychomotor. So whether all the domains, that is all educational experiences are the objectives, whether they are covering these three aspects also, we have to understand while framing this curriculum. Then it should be framed according to simple to complex, or general to specific, or concrete to abstract, or else easy to difficult. So the content should be framed in that way. So the first unit and the last unit, there should be some difficulty level. It should be increased from step by step procedure. So that is the third point we have to consider. Then we have to determine when the purposes are met. So how the purpose has served, that can be also known by the follow-up studies, whether that content studies are interlinkage, any relation with the other studies or not, that also we have to consider. Then take the interviews from the student, whether this subject is reliable or not. Take that feedback from the students also. It is second issue. Then the program reviews. So the program reviews means how many students are qualifying. So all these things should be considered for this course. So Taylor has raised 4 issues. Under these 4 issues, he has given some suggestions to frame the curriculum development. Then the second model is Hilda-Tabas model. In this Hilda-Tabas model, the main features are inductive. Inductive means concise. So from rules to principle. And it is a teacher's approach because teachers are know the total issues of all students and all subjects. So they will frame the curriculum, they will develop the curriculum, and they will also teach, they will implement that curriculum also. So in this curriculum, they have to study the particular society and individual, and they have to pay attention for the selection and organization of the content. So it provides students an opportunity to learn with understanding or with comprehension. Why? Because teachers can know the abilities or the mental levels of the students. Because of that, this syllabus framed by this model, it should be easily understand to the students. So in this model, she framed 7 steps. In the earlier Taylor's model, he framed according to 4 steps. But in this Tabas model, that is 7 steps. That is, first step is diagnosis of needs. Second step is formulation of learning objectives. Third one is selection of learning content. And fourth one is organization of learning content. Then fifth one is selection of learning experiences. Sixth one is organization of learning activities. And seventh one is evaluation and means of evaluation. Here, selection of learning content, selection of learning experiences. These are all similar, but it is learning content and experience. And organization of learning content, organization of learning activities. So 4 and 6, they are seems to be similar, but it is the content is different and learning experiences or the learning activities are different. Then the first is diagnosis of students. The teacher or the curriculum designer is the teacher, starts the process by identifying the needs of the students for whom the curriculum is to be planned. Teacher know all the things related to the students. Because of that, based on the student intellectual ability and also their mental capacity, she will consider to frame the syllabus. Then the second step is formulation of learning objectives. We are having objectives, teaching objectives. So the teacher has to identify the needs that require attention. He or she specify objectives to be accomplished. So whether that in that learning material, whether the objectives are covered or not, teacher has to consider that one also. Then the third step is selection of learning content. So what content that the teacher has to select? The objective selected or created suggest the subject matter or content for the curriculum. So what content the teacher has to select? The objectives will, it shows a path for the teacher for selection of learning content. Then first step is organization of learning content. So after getting the material, how to organize in a systematic way. A teacher cannot just select the content, but must organize it in some type of sequence. So sequence in a systematic order, the teacher has to frame, taking into consideration the maturity of the learner, their academic achievement, and their interests. So all the things she has to consider: their academic achievement of the students, their interests, and the learner's maturity, that is the capacity to receive the knowledge. So teacher has to first understand all these things before organizing the learning content. Then the fifth step is selection of learning experiences. That is learning experiences, how the student is receiving the knowledge. So content must be presented to pupils and pupils must engage the content. So if it is a practical oriented theory, so how much that the practice it is useful for the student, they have to take it into consideration of the practical activity and the utilization of the student. Then at this point, the teachers select instructional methods that will involve students with the content. So instructional methods, that is lecture method, lecture cum demonstration method, and then other methods, demonstration cum teaching methods, all these methods, experimental method. So what method the teacher has to use in order to share that learning experiences. That also taking into consideration before framing this curriculum development. So selection of learning experiences based on uh, the present understanding of the teacher according to the student and the societal experiences. Then the sixth step is organization of learning activities. How the learning activities should be organized. So just as content must be sequenced as organized, so must the learning activities. So how that material it is going to be organized in a systematic way. Likewise, the learning activities, the practical way activities that must be also should be segregated and they have to frame systematically. Often, the sequence of the learning activities is determined by the content. So, based on the content, the sequence also framed by the teacher based on this learning experiences or learning activities. But the teacher needs to keep in mind the particular students whom he or she will be teaching. So teacher should be also keep in mind the students, because we are having some average students, some intellectual students, some dull students, below average students. So the different categories also the teacher initially know based on that syllabus or the activities or the learning activities. It should be suitable for all levels of the students. Particularly, teachers, they are going to frame based on the average level of the student, because the moderate knowledge, it should be more in the content while the syllabus is framing. So that is the sixth point. And the last point is evaluation and means of evaluation. So evaluation is the measurement, conducting the tests and examination at the end. So teacher has to look after what are the means of evaluation, that is different modes, that is slip test or annual, or else that is if it is a practical. So initially the teacher has to look after all these things while framing this curriculum development. The curriculum planner must determine just what objectives have been accomplished. So on what objectives that evaluation procedures have to conducted. So teacher has to think all these things. Then evaluation procedures needs to be considered by the students and teachers. So it should be acceptable for both the student communities as well as the teaching community. So this is the last step, that is the seventh step, that is evaluation and means of evaluation. So this is the Hilda Tabas model So compared to Hilda Taba model and Taylor's model is deductive and Taba's model is inductive, and Taylor's model is it is belong to the administrator's approach, and Taba's model is the teacher's approach. In this Taylor's model, that the administrators will frame the curriculum, and the teachers are going to implement that curriculum. Whereas both the things in Taba's model, that the curriculum designers are the teachers, they will do all the things. And it is based on the education of the society, Taba's model, and education of the student level. Whereas in Taylor's model, the aims and also based on the objectives and the control based on those things, they are going to frame. So these things are the differences between Taylor's model and Taba's model. So for this material, the book related to Deepak Agarwal, Curriculum Development, Concepts, Methods and Techniques. It is New Delhi publications, but right now it is not there in our library, and in future, if possible, we are going to purchase these books related to this material. Okay, thank you, students. Thank you. All the best.